Okay guys, I have a good one for you today. So I think it's very possible we might get a pump and dump over the next 24 hours. I'm going to show you the facts and you can decide for yourself if you think it's possible. If you do like this content guys, leave a like. I appreciate it. If you're notified by future videos, make sure you subscribe, tick notification bell. And if you want to access all these live charts, you can on my website. It's pinned in first comment description. And if you use my Big Get affiliate link, that's also pinned in first comment description as well. So we're going to cover this chart. The last video I put up, I put a link to it now. I told you to buy around 38,500, and the reason for this was because markets were oversold. We were at support with Bitcoin. It seemed like we had some upside for the indices, so Bitcoin should push up as well. I did say the next point to short was around 39,500. We did get a rejection from this point. I said if we held support above this point, we'll probably head up to 41,500. I still think that's in play. So this is the M1 chart, guys. We've covered this chart. We've played it. We've played the hell out of it. Every time you hit this white line, you short. This is where I told you to short at 48,273, and you can see every time we hit it, we end up getting rejected. We did get some wicks above, but you notice immediately the candle is below this white line. This is where more recently I told you to short at 43K. That played out beautifully, and I actually gave you my entry point and my stop loss. I'm going to give you that as well if this plays out. So we know right off the bat, if we push up today, the highest we can go is roughly around 41,838. If it's tomorrow, the highest we go is around 41,655. So again, if we do happen to push above this point, then maybe we're going to have to flip bullish, but I still think we're going to get rejected, so I'm going in on a heavy short at this point. And we'll show you exact targets. I think I know exactly where we're going to get rejected. This is a published version of this chart, just to show you. This is published version. It cannot be edited. This is published on March 26. I knew about this white line before price ever made contact with it. I was talking about this way in advance. Every time I hit this white line, short. You see how this played out. We hit it, and we kept getting rejected. This is where I told you to short at 43K. So again, if we push up, I'm going in a heavy short right here. We know this right off the bat. So the DXY is at strong resistance. So remember, Bitcoin is inversely correlated with the DXY, including the indices. You can see back here. You can see how accurate this fib channel line is, or this fib channel is for the DXY. We got rejected right at 101. When the DXY started coming down, Bitcoin was pushing up. But you'll notice the DXY is pushing up. We're at resistance now. So it is very possible that we have some downside, just like we had downside here. Right? We got rejected, came down. You know, the DXY is way overextended. It needs to cool off some. So again, if the DXY starts coming down, that is going to be bullish for the markets and bullish for Bitcoin. So it's very possible we get rejected. Your next support is around 101. It's likely we find support and start pushing up. So again, DXY down, bullish for markets, bullish for Bitcoin. So that's one thing I'd like to point out. The second, so if you've been following me, guys, I told you, I gave you a perfect point to short the Dow up here at 35,204. I said that this orange ring is going to be resistance. You see we got a rejection. I think we came down a total of over 1,000 points with the Dow. You can see we held support right here. We had a hell of a wick down below. We held support on this trend line. So I do think we have some upsides for the markets. If we do, I think the highest the Dow will go is around 34,512. So remember, the DXY down, bullish for Bitcoin. Indices up. Remember, Bitcoin follows the indices. If the indices are up, that's also bullish for Bitcoin. So I think it's possible we have some upside, and this plays along with that chart that I showed you in the beginning of this video. So I'm going to cover this, the MACD, RSI, but right off the bat, I want to show you that there's a fractal playing out. And let me grab this bars tool. So I'm going to go where this yellow arrow is, right at the peak, and I'm going to come all the way down to the lowest point we went right here. And I'm going to move this over, and I want you to see how well this matches. Now I do have to scale it down to get it to fit, but you'll see that it is matching pretty nicely. So you can see right there. I mean, right here, right? This would be equivalent to this peak right here. This point right here is this point right here. Let me grab the arrow. So right here. So you can see down here, it found support. We pushed up resistance, and you can see this right here, I think, is going to be the top. And now that will be slightly above that white line, but that happened last time. I'll show you that as well. Actually, I'll show you that right now. So this was on April 21st. This is that white line on the C1 chart, same line on the M1 chart. So it said this is where I entered at 42,774, because it's very possible right at this white line we get rejected. However, if we pushed up, I said it was possible we can make contact with this line on the H1 chart. That would be the top, so set your stop around 43,065. Again, if we push above it by a bit, we would top out here. That played out perfectly. So I think the same thing is going to play out. You notice right here, we are pushing up, getting close to it, and we made contact right at that line and got rejected. So again, I think that's how it's going to play out. So let me go back to this chart. So that price target is right here around 42,058. Now that does put us above that white line, but again, that's why having the H1 chart and the M1 chart can kind of give you an idea. Well, we know we get reversals or we get rejected at the white line, but the H1 chart will give you an exact target to put in your short, or at least know where to put your stop loss. So if this does play out, well, let's grab this this channel right here. I've got this support and resistance. So let's just grab this top resistance level. Let's move this over. Let's just go to, let me get rid of this. So let's just put it right at our resistance, right? So this is currently our resistance. It's parallel channel. Let's grab our support. Let's move this over. So this would be our support right here. And notice there's a wick, right? So this is currently our support. Right here, you can see there's a wick comes down right to this point. And this is currently our support right now. We'll have to see if this holds and we push up. Obviously, if this breaks, maybe this won't play out. But you can see that the fractal, these bars match almost exactly. So if this does play out this way, it's possible, again, DXY down, indices up. We could push up, right? Get rejected, push up to this point, possibly get rejected. Notice back here, resistance, support, resistance, support, resistance. We came back down as below as resistance, then we had a little fake out to the upside before we had a dump. Well, the same thing could play out. Resistance, push up, get topped out at this line, and then down we go. So again, that target is around 42,000, right? It's around 42,050 or something like that. But if this does play out, this is also going to be a head and shoulders. You can see right here, this would be your left shoulder, this is your head, and this would be your right shoulder right here. And if that plays out, well, you can see that, if you go from your neckline, right? You go from the head to the neckline, wherever you break the neckline, well, that's the distance you would come down, and that takes you down to around 34,276. So that can mean we have a lot of downside, but that's why I will definitely be shorting around 41,500 to 42,000. And I will keep you guys updated on Twitter and in Discord as we get closer to that point if this does play out. I'd also like to point out if you look at the MACD, you notice the moving averages on the MACD. When we bottomed right here, you can see we had this low point with the moving averages. And then right here, you can see the bars were going from dark blue to light blue. It looked like it was getting ready to come down, and then we had another pump, right? Same thing. We're coming down. They've gone from dark blue to light blue. You can see the moving average is almost identical. Same level as well. But again, we had our low point, just like right here. And now we're going from dark green to light green. So it's possible this could flip dark green again. And if you notice the RSI, you can see the RSI is almost identical as well. You got this high point right here, this high point right here. You got this low point right here, low point right here, and this was bearish divergence, right? So price was moving up, right? So price was trending up higher and higher, right? At the same time, you can see the RSI was going lower and lower and lower. That's bearish divergence. So we know this is going to play out. So if we start moving up this, right? So if we start moving up this channel, come back down. But if price starts pushing higher, and we stay underneath this trend line here on the RSI, getting lower and lower and lower, that's bearish divergence, which means this is probably another fake out, a bull trap to get topped out here before coming down. So again, I do think that is very possible how it's going to play out. It all ties in perfectly. If you look at the DXY potentially topped out, right? Come down, Bitcoin get a little pump. The Dow Jones has some upside, and it's just uncanny how well that matches. Now, someone did say in Discord when I posted this, they said, but head and shoulders are trend reversals. It only works for tops. Well, I did Google it and looked it up, and as a matter of fact, everything that you see about head and shoulders does say trend reversals. So I just went back and tried to find head and shoulders just to see how they played out. And, they play out, even if it's at a top, and they play out, even in a downtrend. Right here, you can see. I tried to find as many head and shoulders as I could. But right here, you can see this is a head and shoulders. This is your neck. This is the, this is the left shoulder. This is the head. This is the right shoulder. And the distance you drop is from the top of the head to the neckline. You can see that's this distance right here. This is another head and shoulders. I had this marked yellow because this is the only one I found that was downward sloping. Notice price is getting lower and lower. but this still played out. You can see that this is the head right here, and this is the distance you would drop. We didn't drop the total distance, but it's still head and shoulders that played out. This is another head and shoulders that played out. This is your distance from the head to the neck. This is how much we dropped. This is another one that played out. This is, we didn't really drop. A lot of times what happens with these head and shoulders is as soon as you break it, you come up, test it as resistance, and then you'll have a drop. That happens a lot of times with head and shoulders. This is another head and shoulders that played out. See, this is the distance you would drop. We didn't drop that much, but same thing just like the last one. Came back below its resistance, and then we had a drop. Let's see, there's a few more on here. This is another head and shoulders that played out, and this is on a downtrend, and it's still head and shoulders. This was the distance you should drop. You see how much we came down. This right here, this was interesting because this was level, but this is your head, right? This was your left shoulder, head, a bunch of right shoulders. I mean, these could play out a number of ways, but you can see the distance we dropped was pretty much the distance from the head to the neckline. So that was another head and shoulders that played out. This is a smaller head and shoulders that played out. We pushed up. It's a left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and we dropped. And this is the current one. So the reason I have this yellow, again, because this is a downward slanting neckline, just like back here. But this did play out. This was the distance you're supposed to drop. This is the distance we dropped. So I'm just saying it is very possible if that plays out on the H1 chart. Again, we could get a little pump, top out, come down, and as soon as we break this point, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break this point, this would be your target. So just pointing that out, it just seems like that could potentially play out. So again, so how I'm going to play this is I will be shorting again. So if we push up today, again, the highest we can go, if this chart plays out like it's played out previously, 41,819. If it's tomorrow, the highest we can go is 41,641. But we have had wicks above before. You can see the meat of the candle is below, but we wicked all the way up to 47,249. Same right here. The line was at 46,913, but we pushed all the way up to 47,401. So it is possible we wick above it, but I still believe that white line on the M1 chart, and it's also on the C1 chart, that it will push us down. So again, 41,834, and tomorrow 41,670. And the H1 chart, guys, that will give you a precision target to know when to short or put in your stop. So if it does play out like this, I'd have my stop around potentially 42,200 just to play it safe. This is the C1 chart. So again, this line right here is the exact same line on the M1 chart. So as you can see, if we push up right now, the highest point we go is 41,657. Now here is 41,562. Our current support, you can see this is a lot of resistance, a lot of support. Your current support that's holding right now is 40,185. If that breaks, your next support level below is right here at 39,229. And your next support level below that, this is that previous video I told you to buy, 38,426. So that would be very strong support as well, around 38,090. But guys, that's pretty much it. If you want to access these charts, website's altercrypto.com. Link will be pinned in the first comment description. Use my Big Get affiliate link. That's also pinned in the first comment description as well. Guys, that's it. Trade safe, trade smart. I'm out.